Depression and perimenopause. Yes, there is a link. There is a link. And I have been having phases of depression and really, really, really severe depression for way too much time. And that depression started like wore out, then it was burnout. I thought it was work. I thought it was the colleagues. I thought it was whatever it was. And I always thought it's my psyche, or it's a choice that I would be able to make, or if I changed my environment and stuff, that my depression would fade. But it didn't. It didn't. Instead, it got worse and worse and worse and really, really, really bad. And I have been consulting with doctors, and I've been consulting with doctors for years, and I've been consulting with various doctors, even in different cities, because I moved places. And most of the time it was, yeah, it's a depressive phase, or it's mild depression, or whatever it was. And I'm just quoting part of the book of I Want to Die, but I Want to Eat Tteokbokki, where she wrote in her book that she had been diagnosed with a mild depression. And she made the comparison just like if you're having a mild flu or a mild cold, do you feel good? No, you feel awful. You feel awful. You cannot get used to your nose running all the time, or your bones aching, or this body temperature just being too highly evaluated. It's not a good phase to be in. Even having a mild cold, or having a mild flu, or having a mildly broken bone. It's nothing we're accepting, but mild depression suddenly is something, oh, just change your life, make lifestyle choices, and then it's gonna be, you can choose to get out of this. No, fucking no. No, some people can, and I'm happy for them, but many cannot. And many are doing the best they can. They're adjusting their lifestyle, they're living healthier, they're doing everything in the book, and it's not getting better. So, and I found something really, really interesting. I found it in the book by Tamsin Fadell, and how to menopause. But it's also relevant for women going through perimenopause. And she spoke about the 3P. The 3P, it's not the 5P like from marketing, it's the 3P regarding depression. Depression. The 3P, I think you'll remember it now. 3P. And what are they? They are physical, period changes, past history. And I wish that every healthcare practitioner out there, every family doctor, every gynecologist, every psychiatrist, every psychologist, every therapist, everybody knows about these 3P regarding depression. And they're actually so simple that I cannot believe that these 3P have never been checked in the years of my history of spiraling downwards into a really, really life-threatening depression. Really life-threatening. And I can just be grateful that I found help through other sources, that I understood what is causing my depression, because I was going insane. The 3P. Physical. Do you notice that there are physical changes happening in your body? Like, do you have changes in your sleep? Do you wake up more often? Do you have trouble falling asleep? Do you wake up in the morning and you're just tired, and you wish you could sleep for another 5 years? And that's something you never had before? Or are you experiencing night sweats? Or is it hot flashes? Or is it suddenly your skin is getting drier? Or is it that your hair is falling out? Or is it teeth getting loose? Whatever it might be, even digestion, is changed heart rate. Whatever physical symptom there might be, are there physical changes? Do you notice that you are more depressed? And maybe you've never been really depressed in your life. Maybe, of course, who doesn't go live with phases of sadness or being depressed for a while or frustrated? I think it's part of the game. It's part of playing all the keys on the piano. But you know, if it's your regular phase of, it's just not so good in my life right now, or if it's really something different. So if you notice you are depressed and you don't really know why, and you notice there's physical changes in your body, that's P number 1. P number 2, changed periods. Well, that's something. Of course, that also requires that you keep track of your periods and of your cycles. It could be, have your cycles become longer? Longer in the sense of, are you bleeding for a longer time? Are you bleeding more intensely? Are you bleeding more frequently throughout the cycles? Or just the opposite, are your cycles getting shorter? Like you're bleeding less, or the cycle intervals itself are getting shorter. So let's say you've had a cycle of 31 days and now suddenly you're having a cycle of 27. That's 5 days. That's 5 days. That's almost a week change. So are your cycles intervals, are they getting shorter or are they getting longer? So for example, you've had a cycle of 31 days and suddenly it's beyond 40 or really irregular. So those things too are indicators. So we've had the physical changes, we have the period changes, and we have past history. That's the third P. Past history is, did you have phases of depression before? And if you've had, can you pinpoint them? Maybe you were depressed in your teens, or maybe you were depressed after labor or during pregnancy, or whenever it was. Is there moments in your life, if you had phases of depression, that indicated or that really put the spotlight on, this is depression? And maybe that can be correlated or caused by changes in hormones. Or if it wasn't you who had depression or phases of depression, did people in your family have depression? Could be your mom, your dad, maybe your brother or your sister or your cousin or your grandma who struggled with depression. It can run in families, which is just like so many other diseases which are running in families. I think there's not a family on the planet not having diseases running in their families. So there's no shame about having depression running in your family. But these are the 3 Ps: physical, period, past history, whether it's your own or of family members. And if you're checking for these 3 Ps and assess if they are present when you're having those depressive phases, or even beyond those depressive phases. Maybe you have a week in your cycle where you do not really feel good, or maybe you feel awful all the time, but there is physical changes. That's something to look out for, because if all 3 are present, or even if it's only 2 are present, they could be indicators that your phases of depression are caused by imbalances, lack, too much, not healthy levels of hormones. And that can be treated pretty easily. I mean, it will take a time of trial and error to find what you need and how your body is reacting to. But that really, really, really can help, because it's physical changes happening in your body and in your brain as part of the body, and they're lacking. They're lacking the nutrition, they're lacking the hormones, they're lacking the liquidity and moisture, they're lacking so much. And they will not get better if they keep being deprived by these things which they need. That's why, likely, you're having these physical symptoms. If you do not notice that either physical changes or period changes or past history is present, then your depressive symptoms, your depressional phases can be caused by something else. And then the regular therapy, a regular psychiatrist, that could be the solution, because then your brain might need and might require something else. I'm not an expert on that, so I don't know what could be medications, but then it's not the hormones. It's caused by something else. Also, your body is telling you something, but there could be different cures. Also, cognitive behavior or meditation, yoga, many of those things could have an effect. And of course, they can also have a benefit to the ones having hormonal induced depression. But many women, me included, have been doing so much healthily. I mean, I've been practicing yoga for years. I've been training with Kristen Linklater on voice. So there's a lot of breath work, there's a lot of body work included. I've been exercising. I'm very present and mindful. It's not that I have been going through my life with just covers on my eyes and ears and not noticing anything. And suddenly, oh, maybe I practice more awareness and maybe I pay attention to my breath. I have been doing these things. So please don't come with cognitive behavior therapy. Or maybe it does help, but why have I been living a healthy life? Why have I been living a conscious life? And suddenly, even replying to a text message is more difficult than climbing the Himalayan mountains. That's how difficult it was. I could not do anything. So I wasn't able to reply to friendly text messages from friends, not even imagining working. How is that okay? It's not okay. Oh, and it will not be solved if you're practicing breathing on a count of 4 in and a count of 8 out. It's not happening. Sorry. It can benefit to a degree, but it cannot solve the issue. Ooh, I'm sharing this because I wish when I have been running from doctor to doctor, or more schlepping from doctor to doctor and hoping for help and not really getting help, rather the opposite, that these questions about the 3P, physical, period, past history, would have been asked. And if no doctor is asking you about the 3P, ask yourself. Ask yourself, be honest with yourself, because then it's so much easier to get the help and to get the remedies that really can soothe and bring you back to life. Of course, we change during perimenopause. We change, I imagine, post-menopause. It is changes. We will not become 35, 25, 15 again. And I'm pretty sure the majority of us, we do not even want to. So we will be different. We will be changed persons. But it does not mean just because we're a changed person, we're supposed to go through life with just the tiniest flame out there. We can be vibrant, we can be strong, we can be big, we can have a different tone, we can have a different sound, we can have a different vibe. And if we choose to be calmer, if you want to be calmer, or if we want to be brighter and more vivid, that's all fine. But then that is our choice. It's not our choice to just barely hang on life like on a spider web thread. That's not the choice. And if that's what you're feeling, then I feel you, because I've been there, and I'm dreading, I'm really, really terrified to ever get back there again. If it wouldn't have been for K-dramas, I don't think I'd be here. And those K-dramas, they distracted my mind. They let me focus on nice things, especially Yumi Cell. It was Yumi Cells. It was such a helpful K-drama, which really, really helped me. So that for months I've been watching K-dramas, and I'm grateful they existed, because otherwise I don't know what I would have done or not have done. So I can only wish that you do not go through months and months and months and possibly years of barely surviving, and even that being more difficult than flying to the moon, but that you can notice these changes within your psyche, within your body, within your being, within your social interactions, within your capabilities, and that you can transition through perimenopause much more healthily without the downsides, which can really have your life crashing down. So today I was a little bit of a downer, but I wish that these 3P will not be downers for you, but rather quicken you and enliven you and vivin you and vigorating you and invigorating you with hope, with faith, and with confidence. See you next time.